Hola mi gente bella y bienvenidos a mi canal. My name is Sandra if this is your first time here, and welcome to my channel. In this channel you'll be learning and I'll be speaking about everything high-end or luxury kind of making business tips. So in today's video we are going to be discussing, or more likely, or actually I'm going to be showing you how I edit pictures. So I had already taken a few pictures, and if you had already seen my previous video, which I will link down here and up here in the information card, and you could go ahead and click on that if you have not seen that first video, I actually show you how I take pictures for my products. And then in this video, I'm going to show you how I edit those pictures. And I also did show you a few clips of up front or up close of how each of those pictures looked, so that you can actually see exactly what I was looking at while I was taking pictures, especially the ones that were overhead, because you can't really see that in camera as I was filming, because I was filming with my cell phone and I was taking pictures with my Canon EOS M50. And I will try to link all the cameras, the lighting that I use, and also the all the stuff that I use for the pictures. And if anything that you want me to link up in that video, I will put it up as well, or in this video I'll put it up as well, just in case, so that you will also have that information and those resources, so that you can also recreate or use the same products that I have. So if actually this video is going to be kind of long, I tried to cut it down a lot, but it was so difficult to cut out a lot of stuff that I personally thought that it was very helpful for you if you are taking product pictures at home, especially if you are editing those same pictures at home. And I do highly recommend getting an actual professional camera in order for you to take professional product pictures, because I found out that when you are taking pictures with your cell phone, you don't really have the same flexibility as when you do take it with your professional cameras. And I also found that when you do take it with a camera, I mean, it does come out nice, but it's not 100% as nice as an actual camera. It doesn't have to be like a very expensive camera, but if you can get your hands on a camera, I highly recommend you doing that, as opposed to using your cell phone. And also, I do like to take pictures that are exactly the same size, exactly the same frame, in the exact same position. With a cell phone, it's kind of hard to do that, and a lot of the equipment are more geared towards an actual camera as opposed to a cell phone. But I am not a tech genius, and I can't really attest to that, but in my opinion, that's what I found to be best to do. If you are taking pictures for Instagram and just to post on the internet like that, or Pinterest or whatever, then you know, a cell phone is very good, because everybody is actually looking at pictures on their cell phones as opposed to looking at it in a computer or anything else. But I do highly recommend using a camera to use to take pictures, product pictures, just because of the stand. They do have stands for cell phones, but I found it that I want to do simultaneous things while I'm on my cell phone, and also as I'm on the camera. So that's why I bought, that's why I bought a camera. Oh, my husband bought me a camera for my birthday, but I also wanted to film on my camera and have my cell phone to do other things while I film, or you know, whatever. So I like to have dedicated things for dedicated things, if that makes any sense. Anyways, I'm rambling on. So let's get into my computer, and we're going to go ahead and start this with a few of the pictures that I took, and let's go and edit. Okay, so now that we're finished taking pictures, we're going to go on the computer and we are going to upload our pictures that we have taken from my camera onto the computer. So I'm going to open Photoshop, and you are going to see me go into Files, Open, and then look for the actual files, and I'm skimming through it, and I believe I have it on my scan disk, so I'm opening that. I'm also opening, I have a lot of pictures, and these are videos. I didn't take any, that's not the videos that I took, so I just took pictures with my camera and I recorded everything with my phone. So I am going to get the pictures that I did last and work my way up that way. So I'm downloading the pictures that I took. I'm doing a few at a time, and I'm going to turn it around because it's obviously upside down. So you're going to see me doing that on camera, and also I'm going to do it again with this one, turn it around, and again with this one as well, and I did a 180, and I like how the pictures turned out. And I'm going to compare the three images that I did right now, so you guys could see as well what I'm looking at. And this one came out dark, this one came out light, and I'm going to delete the one that came out too bright because it was just too bright and you couldn't even see the actual names of the products. And I'm going again over the dark one and the light one to compare how they looked to each other, and I did not like the dark one, so I kept this one. And a little side note is that I know you guys did not see me take this when I was taking the pictures, but I was putting my hand in front of the camera while I was taking the picture so that it could take a brighter picture, and this is what it looked like. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to resize it because it is too big to upload to Shopify, so I resize it to 3500 and 26 by 2628, and then it comes out a little bit smaller so it could fit Shopify dimensions. And I'm going back and looking at the picture to make sure that everything looks good. And this one doesn't really need any adjusting of the light or brightness or contrast or anything, so I left it as is, and then I'm just continuing to upload the other pictures that I took. And I like to always look at them in batches so that I can compare and contrast what they look like. So right now I'm actually going through the last few that I didn't show you guys how I took this on camera, and now I'm going to upload all of those batches to compare and contrast them, and then I'm going to fix the lighting, and you're going to see how I do that. Now this one came out a little bit darker, and also this one is for my collection because I have a 3 perfume oil collection. So it's my earthy collection and my earthy floral collection. So this is what I'm doing here because it's only 3 at a time. Well, the gift box set is for 3. So now I'm comparing the light and the dark one and the other one to see which one of the 3 I like. Obviously, when you look at it, I also like to compare the wordings on the labels to make sure that it's readable. I also like to compare now this one came out too far out, and I think I like this one a little better, the one that is closest to each other as opposed to the one that was too far out. This one looks much more cohesive, so that's why I picked this one However, it came a little bit too dark, so that's what I'm comparing now. And I'm looking at what it looks like. So comparing again the images to see which one of the images that I like, and you're going to see me just delete that one because it was just too bright. This one and that one of them was too dark. So I kept the dark one because the dark one had a better resolution, and then I just played around with the brightness and the settings, and I made the picture smaller for to put it up in Shopify. And you're gonna see me here just working around with the darker image that had the better contrast and the sharper images, and that's what I worked with, and never used the auto because the auto goes way too dark. And I picked one, and now moving on to the next batch. And in this batch, that was the last picture that I took in my camera. If you saw my last previous video on how I take photographs, and in this one I'm going to show you two different things that I did with it. The first one that I'm going to show you in this clip is how to fix crop pictures in Photoshop. This picture I took over, but this one I just had this picture that the actual flooring of the so-called bathroom that I had was just too close to the camera. You could see it. So what I did was just tilt it over because it was also not completely straight. And then there's like white areas on the picture, so I'm going to crop that. Actually, I first cut it because I didn't like how it looked. The only reason that I didn't like this one also was because once you crop the picture comes way too close to the camera. So I'm not going to be using this, but I wanted to show you guys how to actually crop a picture in Photoshop. And you could either cut it or you could crop it. If you cut it first, and this is what I'm doing first, which I'm cutting, you're going to have excess areas. So with those excess areas, you could just go ahead and click on the ellipse, which is those three little bars on the left side menu, and then click on crop, which will be the fifth option from the top. And then you just use that and you start cropping your actual pictures. And in this picture, while I was cropping it, you still had a little bit of whiteness to it, and then you just have to go back and crop it a little bit more just to make sure that you don't have any empty spaces, because then that will be also shown in your product picture if you upload it like that to Shopify. So this one was just an example of how to actually crop. Now, and this is the one that I retook, and this one is the one that I actually use on my website. And this one is, I'm just going to show you how to remove this little brown area, which is not an imperfection, but it's just like my shadow where I was standing. If you want to make your entire top bottle, or well, the bottle have one cohesive look, all you have to do is just go ahead and go into your cutting tool, and then you cut it first, you copy it, and then you paste it, and then you start pasting it all the way up, and then you get another section of the other side and you cut that, and then you copy on that other side, which will be the left side, and then again you just cut a little bit, and then you make sure that it's just a little piece, because if you cut too big, then it won't look seamless. And then you copy it and you start pasting it all the way up. And then you'll have different layers on your actual work location, which is on the bottom right hand corner. And all you have to do then is then click on all of them, so you could merge or link those layers so they could be only one. And as you can see now, all the top actually looks like it was supposed to look like that. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I was just showing you guys if you want to eliminate it. So before and after. So now in this clip, I'm going to show you how to remove this little white space or blank space from the background. I forgot, or I didn't paste this correctly while I was making my faux bathroom tile look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the top portion, which looks exactly the same as this one, and I'm going to superimpose it on top of that space. And what I'm going to do now is go back to that ellipse, get the blurring tool. I'm going to get it closer so I can make sure that I'm actually blurring it correctly, because the background actually is a blur. And I also want to get rid of those harsh lines that shouldn't be there, because then it looks like, you know, right in your face when you look at the picture. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going along and blurring that line. And now I think it is I'm satisfied with how it looked. So now I'm going to go back and look at it from a distance and see how it looks. I'm going to go back to that ellipse, and what I'm doing now is I'm going to get the smudging tool to smudge that line to make it look a little bit much more blend in with the background. I'm going to back away from the picture so that I could see it from a distance, so that I can actually make sure that the actual line doesn't like blur completely or just completely goes away. So what I'm doing now is naming that background, giving it a name so that I could actually go back to it when I need to. And I just realized that I have already a background, so I named it white background. Fun fact, and I learned this while I was trying to save everything on my computer, but I couldn't because Photoshop was filled with copy and paste stuff. So what I did is I went into images, clicked on purge, and it will erase everything in your clipboard, and you can start all over from scratch. Now in this shoot, or in this picture, what I'm doing is copying and pasting the already cut image from that backdrop. And what I'm doing now is just I'm just superimposing it on the top of the another picture, which has the exact same imperfection of that reddish space there. So all I'm doing is putting it there, superimposing it there, and adjusting the brightness of the picture so you can't even see that it's actually there, and it looks like it was there before. And then this is going to be the after, and then I'm going to go ahead and adjust the brightness of it so that it could seamlessly melt into that picture, so you could see actually not see that it was not supposed to be there. So if the picture looks exactly the same backdrop and nothing changed, then you could do this, just copy and paste the backdrop or whatever it is that you want to change in another picture with this, and you won't have to start all over from scratch how I first initially started to cut and paste that white line from above to the bottom so it could look all cohesive. So if this was a completely different picture, I will have to probably start all over because the lighting might have changed. But because this is the same picture but with different backdrop, the same backdrop but different picture, then I could do that the same way. Now in this picture, all I'm going to show you here is that I took this picture and I saw that the little flowers had left a little, little dots there. So all I'm going to do is show you how you could just, instead of taking a completely different picture, all you have to do is get really close to that little imperfection or that little speck of dust or dirt or whatever it is, copy that section above or below it, and then put it on top of it, and it looks like nothing was there. And I'm going to do it again with the little white speck of dot that's right there, and then just put it on top. I copied it again, and because it was too light, and where I wanted to put it again, it was just too light, all I did was just delete that layer and then just copied the layer closest to that little white dot. I know you guys can't really see it, but it's there and I can see it. So I just copied that another layer that is closest to that dot and just put it on top of that white speck of flower, and then it looks like nothing was there. And then you just back away from the picture, and then you look at the picture as a whole, and you could just merge those 3 layers if you want, or if you want to just leave them like that, you could just leave them as is. But me being me, I want to make sure that the picture looks very, very nice and pretty, especially if you're going to look at this from your computer. And so I looked at it as a whole, I liked it, and I just clicked on all the layers and I merged them. Now in this next clip, I'm going to show you how I fix my labels. And in this one, I didn't want to mess around with the lighting in the dark picture. So all I did was cut out the labels, because I love the labels in the darker picture better than the bright one. And so what I did is I cut the label in the dark picture because I like the reflection of the gold in here. And so I cut it out, and then I superimposed it on the brighter one because the brighter one looks a lot nicer. And then I placed it on the other old label, and I fixed it, made sure that the height, the width was correct, and then I played around with the brightness of it, and so that it could look seamless as if it was already there in this picture. Now in the next picture, this one, I'm going to show you how I did it with the same tactic with the label from the perfume oil. And all I'm doing is carefully cutting out and the label from here, and then I am going to also superimpose it on the bright picture because I didn't want to mess around with the brightness of the darker picture, since I already have one that looks nice already, and I am going to superimpose it. Look how dark it looks. But when I play around with the brightness, you'll see how it looks as if it's supposed to be there. And then I'll show you a before and an after. And this is how it looked after. I'm just playing around with the brightness and the contrast to make sure that it looks cohesive, and then see how it looks really, really nice. And then I'll show you before and then after. Before, after. And so it looks really, really nice, and I like how this one turned out. I did the exact same thing with this label, because the label, although it looked nice, I'd rather how sharp it looked with the darker picture. So all I'm doing again is I'm going over the label and I'm carefully tracing it, and then I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to superimpose this one on top of the bright one. Again, I didn't want to mess around too much with the brightness of it, so that's why I just went ahead and superimposed it on the light picture. And now I'm going to fix it, make sure that it looks okay. And I'm also leaving just a little bit of space at the bottom so that I could match the color to the superimposed label. And then I'm going to play around with the brightness and the contrast so that it could match exactly to this picture, and it looks exactly as if it was taken by me in this lighting. So the before and then the after, and this looks a lot better than how it looked before, instead of me playing around with the picture. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope that you guys saw that I put a lot of thought and a lot of time into taking those pictures, into actually editing. And like I said earlier when I introduced the video, I did not show you all the pictures that I took, and I took a lot of pictures. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It actually helps the YouTube algorithm to show it to more candle makers just like you. So let's spread the knowledge, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, mi gente bella.